you. Thank you for having me over. Thank you, all of you, for sitting here despite it being a holiday. Happy Eid to all of you. I hope I make it happy by having a nice start, a few familiar faces in the audience. So hello, everyone. The topic that I'm going to talk about right now is extremely close to my heart. It is one of the reasons why I picked up the role that I'm doing right now, which is heading media brands as well as creative brands. Unheard of in this industry, but that's an attempt that we are trying to do at Dentsu. And I'll tell you why we are trying to do. One key reason is this, right? Sanjay alluded to that, which is marketing has never been as complex. And if I try to bullshit you through by saying I am absolutely 100% conversant of what's happening across the world, don't believe it, because no one does. It's complex, it's in a flux, it's moving, it's evolving. But you know, one thing which really amazes me is that from where we were to where we are now, you know, we are actually in the most advanced phase of marketing. Never ever did we know as much and as quickly about our consumers and as much as about our competition as we do now. You know, if you look at where we stand right now as far as consumers are concerned, we track their behavior. We know exactly what they do at what point of time they wake up, what do they do, what do they do in the evening, before sleeping. Their habits are very, very, well known to all of us. We can predict their intent, exactly when will they actually click and when will they buy. We actually now automate journeys, right? We are automating our journeys as exactly when, where, what, how many interventions. And we can also actually personalize at scale, thanks to AI, right? I'm sure you will hear this word a lot. So much happening, so much that we know, so much that we can do, yet there is one thing which I very strongly believe on is that it is measurable. Our marketing bucks is measurable, our content is measurable, but it's also becoming more forgettable. How many of you would have actually gone through while you are in the middle of Insta scrolling and some ad comes that you would remember that ad or you would actually stay at that? The problem is that, despite all the sophistication, I think what we are not really tackling is making sure that we become a more memorable brand. And also, at times you also click on it and you buy it, but you would still forget that brand the next day. That is where we are losing the game, I feel. And that is where the big next opportunity lies for us. Now, why do I say this? If you look at where we are, we know everything about the consumer. We know what the consumer is doing. We know at what point of time will that person be interested. But how are we trying to sell to him? Now imagine there are two salespeople, right? One salesperson is a brochure salesperson. He will rattle off exactly what is supposed to be told to you without even realizing, how would you react to something, or almost like be human to you, right? The other person is a storyteller. The other person tells you and sees exactly how the mood is, what is the behavior, and tends to involve you in the entire story. Who would you buy it from? Absolutely right. The story is what sells finally. The amount of number of brochure salespeople that you will have to keep and the amount you'll have to spend on them, you will have to spend a fraction on this person who's a storyteller. And that is where the crux is. For me, honestly, there have been three eras of marketing. That's how I look at it. One era was create the creative and the creative will find its place. Uh, those were the days where it was used to be about few channels and you would just put it out there and everyone would talk about it, good or bad or whatever. That era is gone long, long time back. Then came the era of saying, let's be sharp and targeted and talk to everyone in this way. Logo should be here, message should be there. It became very, very mechanical. I think this third era is the era where we are bringing both together. It is the amalgamation of the creative and the strength of data and media which is coming together now. And I say this with a lot of caution. I feel performance, the way we know it is dead. It is not going to work. It is not going to perform. By performance, we mean it should yield great results. But at the same time, the new form of performance is actually, it's coming to the fore now. This is the time to rewrite the book of performance. And that's exactly what I was talking to Sanjay a few minutes back, that performance is important. Performance for any marketer, business is important. So at no point I'm saying performance is not important. Performance is super critical. All of us are judged by not just the brands we build, but also the business we do. But are we doing the way it should be done? Possibly not. Does it need a drastic change? Absolutely, yes. So this is exactly what I feel. We used to be an integrated setup at some point of time. If you remember, agencies would be creative and media together, and we used to understand that part. We became siloed. We became creative and media. And then media became more mechanical, methodical. Creative became a lot of heart. This became a lot of brain. Time is for both to come back again. And more so in performance, because everyone wants to build brands, but at the same time, those brands needs to give you the performance and the money that they really need. That's where this whole thing is moving into brand performance. And why do I say that? If you look at any performance ad, if that performance ad, we usually say, right, a performance ad needs to be basic and, handheld cameras and, you just need a basic message to go out. Now, firstly, is it as effective? Possibly not. You would tend to miss it. Secondly, it is possibly harmful to the brand. If I come across as shoddy to you, what is the impression do you take of me or of Dentsu? If you put out content which is not absolutely to the mark, what is the impression that you give out about the brand? So a non-storytelling, creative-led performance ad is actually harming the brand possibly in the long run. So while you think we will have short-term gains, you're probably not getting the short-term gains and possibly harming the brand in the long term. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is performance now is in the zone of performance 2.0. Performance is not just about what to say, when to say, it is also about how we say it. And I think that's where the creative and the media piece is coming together brilliantly. We look at Insta, people express their identity. You look at YouTube, people are seeking and immersing themselves into the content there. You look at Amazon, they're making decisions there. All of these scenarios, the same consumer is acting differently. And hence, our story needs to act according to them. And that's where the change is required, even performance. Performance now, that's what we're also trying to do in Dentsu, which is we're calling it Performance 2.0. Performance is not just a science. If it is a science, it needs to be not as boring as physics, chemistry, and biology, right? That science needs to be fun and interesting. And that's where the world's moving. That's where performance is moving. And you will keep hearing this brand performance very, very, very often now. Uh, and you know why? It is the time where we need to orchestrate all of this brilliantly. We need to orchestrate the right platform, we need to orchestrate the right creative, and we need to orchestrate the right human moment. And dare I say, there was never a better time to do this. I don't think we knew as much about the consumer and as much about the moments as we do now. We didn't know, we didn't have the means to do it. We didn't have all the platforms to do it. We have everything now. What we need to make a shift is, we really need to get the creative also right in this space. Because like Sanjay said, if the content is right, I think the engagement will be high and the love for the brand will be higher. And it's not just a short-term love that you're creating a long-term, infatuation for the brand. And finally, if you do all of this, the brands will find a meaning. There is a reason for everyone to actually engage with the brand. And the meaning will be a long-term meaning. And I think it's important, once again, reiterating where I started from. The world is complex. Marketing is changing. Marketing is also about business, and I think it's very important. But business also comes from the love that you create for the brand. So now is the time to bring media and creative together, and it is not just about performance which also builds brands, and hence that is my submission. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing, try to bring these two different worlds now together in one, and it's going to create magic and create the right meaning that we're really wanting to. Thank you so much for having me over.